Welcome to another podcast of the current situation at Manchester United. I have to tell you guys, in this video podcast, I am going to come with the sword. Yes, I'm going to do a lot of cut-ups because I'll be going into the squad, the full length of Manchester United's main squad. I'm not going to go into the under 19s, the under 18s, the under 17s, if they have under 17s. But I'm going to go into the main squad of Manchester United. And I'm going to be covering some players that are at the club currently, players that are coming back at the club, players that need to leave the club, not only on loan, but some that need to leave the premises and the property of Manchester United for good. This is me. Whether it's a good decision or not, they need to leave for good. So in this video podcast, I'll be going into the squad with the sword. I'll be doing a lot of cut-ups. I'll be doing a lot of dicing. I'll be giving my opinions on the players that need to leave Manchester United pronto, rapido, and never come back. So before I get into that, if you guys remember, I did a lengthy video podcast on Sunday, which was 1 hour and 57 minutes, which was my longest video podcast to date on this football channel. Now, I don't think I'm going to do that again. Maybe if the spirit of football has someone upon me to do such thing, but I don't know if I'm going to do such a thing, at least not for now. But in that video podcast, I covered a myriad of things relating to Manchester United that I think needs to be fleshed out, that needs to come out, that needs to be said. So I say that to say this. In this video podcast, I just want to cover the previous notes I said in my previous video based on how we finish as a club. Of course, we didn't win any trophies last season. We're trophy virgins, as I would call it. We didn't have any trophies, and we haven't had any trophies for the past 4 years. To put that in perspective, we haven't had a single trophy since Donald Trump was in his first year as president of the United States. And now he's out of office. So, with that being said, we need to try to reinvent ourselves, to transform ourselves. And that is something that has been said over the years. But when are we going to be serious as a club? When are we going to be very serious as a top club? A lot of persons has been having this notion that, yeah, we're in our transformation stage. We're in that post Sir Alex Ferguson era where we're going to work on our squad. We're going to implement quality players to bring us back to the stage on that blank book page where we're the biggest club. We're winning trophies. We're winning the Champions League, the Premier League consecutively every year. We're going to get on a page, but it's almost 8 years, bro. What is the transformation that you have made ever since? Yes, we have won trophies, particularly an FA Cup, a Capital One Cup, the EuroLeague Cup, and one Community Shield, at least 2 Community Shields. But is that the type of trophies that depict Manchester United as a club? Does it really? No, it doesn't. So I'm going to be going into a few Manchester United notes. Yes, I've been using Internet Explorer. Yes, I'm behind the 8th ball a bit. Yes, I've been living under a rock. So yes, I'm kind of slow mentally. So I am going to be catching up with some news in relation to Manchester United in terms of transfers, latest news, players that are linked to Manchester United. Yeah, I'm going to be catching up because I'm a slow person at heart. So the first person we have that Manchester United has been linked with for the past few days is Jadon Trippier. Now, this is a player that used to play for Burnley, a player that used to play for Tottenham, and he's obviously a player for the England squad. And he is in the England squad for the Euros that's going to start next week. My thoughts on this signing, he's at Atletico Madrid right now, is that he's one of those players that we should have gotten younger. Why are we linked to this guy at an older age? We have Diego Dolo that is at AC Milan. He was a loanee at AC Milan. He's been doing bits in Italy. Why are we linked with another right back? We have two two young right backs I just mentioned, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. We had to get rid of Timothy Fosu-Mensah because Timothy Fosu-Mensah, unfortunately, wasn't showing any sign of improvements as a player. Injuries was his enemy. Injuries was his adversary. He was not getting any better. He wasn't improving. So we had to cut him loose. Whether that was the best decision or not, he had to move on so he could move on with his career and move elsewhere where he can continue his career. Because he's just going to stagnate. He's going to be a dormant player that is not going to grow. He's not going to glow at Manchester United. He's not going to get any game time at Manchester United. So he had to move on. But with Dalot coming back to Manchester United and Wan-Bissaka at Manchester United, what is the significance? What is the importance of getting Kieran Trippier from Atletico? No, Trippier, from my recollection, he's a decent player. He's very attacking. He can defend. But why are we linked to this old youth that has probably 2 years under his belt left in football at best? Why are we linked to this guy? Isn't Manchester United the embodiment of youth players coming through the system and playing well, thriving, striving and growing? Why are we linked with this old youth? I thought we were past the Jose Mourinho era. That's how a Jose Mourinho player, bro. We don't need Kieran Trippier. At least in my opinion. Of course, leave your opinions down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Maybe I'm just talking gibberish. Maybe I'm just talking garbage. But that is my opinion. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section, because I don't think we need to be linked with this player from Atletico Madrid. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. This is me. He can do a few things on the ball, but do we need this player? Do we need this player? The man of the moment at the moment is, of course, Jadon Sancho. We have been linked with Jadon Sancho for a long, over probably almost 2 years now, and it has intensified. It has become exacerbated for the past year because he has grown as a player for the past year, and Manchester United is preparing a bit to land this player officially. They want to bolster the squad. They want to boost the squad. They want to improve the squad. This is the thing, and I've said this before. If we're going to get a quality signing that is in line with Manchester United, it's not going to make any difference if we have a quality player, but the style of play on the pitch has not improved. The player is not going to thrive as much as they would under a system that is built by the manager. See, if there is no game plan, is there no strategy, no style of play to portray and display on the pitch, the player is just going to look like Bebe. He's going to look like Bebe. Jadon Sancho is going to look like Bebe. We have made a lot of quality signings post Alex Ferguson. A lot of good signings. But did those players strive at Manchester United? No, they did not. And here's the kicker. When they left Manchester United, their careers improved. Di Maria, Memphis Depay, Schweinsteiger was on the low end in terms of his career, so I won't really get into that. Falcao was doing bits when he left because he was doing bits for Monaco before, but definitely when he came back to Monaco, he was still scoring goals. I know I'm missing with a few players right now, but Mkhitaryan doing bits at Roma, isn't me? And all those players. So I'm saying this, bro. We need to have a system. We need to have a style of play to portray and display on the pitch if we're going to get a player like Jadon Sancho. Because based on what I'm hearing, my man has rejected Man City to come to Manchester United. He has rejected the blue side of Manchester to come to the red side of Manchester. And if that is the case, then that says that he wants to play good football at a top club. If he's going to make that decision, if he's going to make that sacrifice to come to Manchester United, we need to have a style of play. Not only to get the best out of that particular player, but to get the best out of the squad. You need to maximize the potential and the promises of your squad. That is why the football game is a 11-man game. It's not a 1-man game. This is not golf. This is not track and field, and this is not swimming, and this is not tennis. This is a team sports. This is a team sports. Unity is the reality of success. Don't let me start preaching now, because you guys know I can preach. But basically, if we're going to land Jadon Sancho as a player, bro, we need to improve our squad. We cannot allow Jadon Sancho to be an algae in the mud, where he comes up a club where there's a lot of average players and he's only the star in this squad. We cannot allow that. We can do better than that. We have this. We have the money. We have the market abilities. We have the sponsors. We have the brand to not only get that type of player, but we have the brand to embody that football, bro. So my thing is this: I like Jadon Sancho coming to Manchester United, but if he comes to Manchester United, there has to be some system that's implemented, that is welded in the squad, that is installed in the squad. This is me. That's being plumbered in the squad. This is me. We have to do an That's what I'm going to be doing this video, because I'll be doing some inventory in the squad. Some players need to leave for good. Some players need to cut that umbilical cord and move in one accord with their time. Their time Manchester United should be finished. So yeah, a few other notes here. See, I was going to do it on my computer, but my computer is having problems with the network adapters, so I have to go use it off my tablet instead. So I'll be going into different different windows and so forth. But it says here that agreement has been completed. Now I'm guessing this is probably the sign of Jadon Sancho, because things have intensified over the last 24 hours to 48 hours. So, and Rashford probably did a post on Instagram saying, he said he tagged Jadon Sancho and he put a heart there when they were in the English training camp. Rashford knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He was basically saying, yeah, bro, you're coming to the best club in Manchester, not only in Manchester, but in England and in the world. So, yeah, man, good looking on that, man. So we see how that goes. But it says here that Manchester United transfer latest. Fabrizio Romano confirms deal done. Medical will be this month. Okay, so the signing he's talking about is looking to sign Tom Heaton from Aston Villa, and this is just another old goalkeeper that is just going to be next to Lee Grant on the bench. Lee Grant hasn't played football for almost 2 years, if not over 2 years. I don't see why we're signing other goalkeepers, bro. Again, the game of football is not based on the amount of goalkeepers that is played in the game. Because goalkeepers, quite frankly, they don't score goals. They leak goals, they concede goals, they save goals from scoring, but they don't score the goals themselves. They don't create the goals themselves, unless you're Ederson, of course. But most goalkeepers aren't like that. So I don't see we're getting another goalkeeper other than just for the camaraderie. I'll never get that right word. The camaraderie. Man, my lip is so, my tongue is so, whatever. But I don't think we need this player named Tom Heaton. I don't think so. I don't see. This is the thing. If you're going to get this keeper, it's going to relate to what I'm going to be doing in this video podcast. Some players need to be executed. Some players need to be removed. They need to be removed from the squad. Like, never see the squad. Never again. Never get a smell of the club. They need to be removed pronto. So if you're going to sign Tom Heaton, definitely, and this is going to relate to me going into the squad right now of cutting, executing, persecuting, and removing some players from Manchester United. If you're going to get Tom Heaton in relation to goalkeepers, Lee Grant needs to leave. He needs to probably retire. I think Sergio Romero is on his way out, so I don't think there's no say-so for me to say on the matter of Sergio Romero. Matter of fact, if you guys can remember in not fall of 2015, in the summer of 2015, Manchester United was linked with Sergio Ramos. It's been apparently made clear at the time that Sergio Ramos wanted to leave the premises and property of Real Madrid to probably go to a new club where he can probably challenge himself, try to win trophies. You know, I think he had some tension or some contentious moments with the president, and he thought that it was evident that he would leave the premises and the property of Real Madrid to probably go to another club. Now, Manchester United was the club that was in favor of getting the signature of Sergio Ramos. But in a couple of weeks' time, things were intensifying. And in relation to Sergio Romero, Manchester United completed the signing of a player. And when we saw the name, we were like, Sergio Ramos has signed for Manchester United. Sergio Ramos has signed for Manchester. Yo, come check this out. Sergio Ramos has signed for Manchester United. I can't believe we're getting a world class centre back. He's going to be the next Emmanuel Village. He's going to be the next, John Terry. All and below, lo and behold, we saw Sergio Romero coming up, signing for Manchester United. So that kind of had United fans on their toenails, isn't it? Because they thought they were getting a world class centre back. But we got a backup goalkeeper, which is very good. Sergio Romero is a very good keeper. Because I've said this before. In certain top clubs in England, Sergio Romero would be a starter. And we have this dude as a third wheeler on the bench. He's a third wheeler on the bench. He's not no second fiddle. He's not sloppy seconds. This dude is a third wheeler on the bench. Dean Henderson is second fiddle to David De Gea. And Sergio Romero, who is moving out, but previously he was like third wheeler to Dean Henderson. Now, when Dean Henderson was here, of course, Sergio Romero was sloppy seconds or second fiddle to David De Gea. So the power shift have changed a bit since Dean Koons has been at Manchester United. But yeah, this is where I'm going to get into the squad and start executing players the fun, right, bro? I have to come with the sword. I have to do a lot of execution, isn't it? Because some players need to just leave just for their own good. So the first person that we have on the execution sheet is and I mentioned his name already, Lee Grant. When Lee Grant was signing for Manchester United in 2018, fall of 2018, if not the summer of 2018, I'm one of those persons that question. I'm one of those persons that question the reason why certain signing is being made. Is he signed to just get pension for his retirement? Is he signed to give experience to young keepers? Is he signed to just be another number on the call sheet? What is his call to the squad? What is his call to the cause? Why are we signing Lee Grant? This dude came from Stoke City, bro. Why are we making signings from Stoke City? Stoke City is not a top club. They've never been a top club. So why are we signing Lee Grant? I don't even think Lee Grant was starting for for Stoke City. And Man United under Mourinho signed Lee Grant. I know look up players in this guy, but maybe he's trying to look for me or not. But why did we sign this dude? What is his significance to the squad? He's getting decent money at Manchester United. Now, don't get that twisted. He's getting decent money, but what is his significance? What's his call, bro? What's he doing at Manchester United? So he's the first player that needs to leave for his own good. In terms of players that need to stay at Manchester United, of course, persons have been. This is the second name I'm going to get into. Person has been on the fence when he comes on to David De Gea. David De Gea needs to stay at Manchester United. Now, am I saying that David De Gea has no flaws, has no red spots in his game? No, I'm not saying that. He has flaws and red spots in his game. But with that being said, he's probably still a top 5 or a top 10 goalkeeper in the world. Listen to me. There's not too much goalkeepers in the modern day of football that can outclass David De Gea on David De Gea's day. Because I'm telling you, bro, when David De Gea is in his mood, nobody can beat David De Gea. David De Gea is an elite shot stopper. David De Gea is an elite shot stopper. Now his game has somewhat declined ever since Ronaldo's hat-trick against him in the World Cup opening almost 3 years ago, if not 3 years ago. But even then, he still has the game, he still has the information, he still has the experience to know what to do between the sticks. He's still affluent. He's still a top-class goalkeeper. There is no need for us to sell this guy with Dean Henderson, who has the passion, he has the drive, he's aggressive, he's combative, he's abrasive. But he doesn't have the experience like David De Gea. He's just naive, he's ignorant. He needs experience beside him. So if we sell David De Gea and leave Dean Koons between the sticks, with Sergio Romero leaving, that's a given. With Lee Grant, I want to leave. Why there is no need for David De Gea to be sold. Although Mourinho wants to, at least what I'm hearing, wants to sign him on loan at Roma because they cannot afford his wages. But this dude has to stay at Manchester United, bro. Yes, he has made flaws. Yes, he hasn't been the same David De Gea. Yes, he's a far cry from his former self. Yes, he is somewhat contrary to David De Gea 3 years ago. But despite all of that, he's still the same goalkeeper. Class is permanent. That is something that cannot leave you even if you're aging. Even if you're aging, when you're a goalkeeper, you can still be at the top of the game even at the age of 35 or 37. So David De Gea is probably 29 or 30, bro. He has years that he's still in the game. Yes, he's declined earlier than he should have, but players are just made differently. You see me? Some players are not from the same cloth. They're not tailor-made the same way as other players. So my final comment is this. David De Gea needs to stay for his own good and for the good of United. If we sell David De Gea from a place of pure ignorance, that Dean Henderson is not going to. Yes, he might have the coaching, the goalkeeper coach to improve his game, but in terms of another experienced goalkeeper, he's not going to get that experience. You see me? So he needs to stay for his own good and for the good of the club. So yeah, the first player that's executed is Lee Grant. He needs to leave. He's been beheaded. Another thing is of course Dean Henderson is staying, that's a given, so he's safe for now. Joel Pereira. I'm not I don't know what is up with this young youth. I think he's probably 24 or 25 right now. And I don't see Joel Pereira thriving at Manchester United, unfortunately. I just don't see it. Dean Henderson is young. David De Gea is still quote unquote not really young, but he's not particularly old as either. He still has years under his belt, so I just don't see Joel Pereira thriving or striving at Manchester United if he wants to start games. If he wants to start games for Manchester United on an occasional basis, he might get that, but if he wants to start games on a regular or semi-regular basis, he's just dreaming a fantasy. He's not going to get that. That's not going to be his reality. He's never going to be a starter for Manchester United. With Dean Henderson, who is still young, David De Gea, that is getting paper per week. Why bench a player that's getting paper per week? That's contrary to logical thinking. So I would honestly, unfortunately, I might send him on loan, Joel Pereira, but what benefit is that going to do for his career? He needs to be starting games for a decent club. Or I think he's of the age where he needs to be sold, bro. So unfortunately, you know what here? I'll actually keep him because given what I just said, Lee Grant leaving, I want Lee Grant to leave. Sergio Romero is leaving, going back to Argentina, and that leaves David De Gea, Dean Henderson, and Joel. Yeah, Joel can stay. But with that being said, we should not sign Tom Heaton though. We shouldn't sign Tom Heaton. So if we are going to keep Joel Pereira, David De Gea, Dean Henderson, we cannot sign Tom Heaton. It makes no sense to sign Tom Heaton. Football is not a game where 11 players are goalkeepers on a football pitch. That's not football. That's not football. So let's go into the defenders. Now this is where it's going to get somewhat fishy, because our defending for the past 2 years has been very questionable at times. And some players go get it, bro. Some players go get the execution. But the first player on the team sheet, I didn't want to call him out first, but he was the one that he wanted to come first. So okay, Victor Lindelof. Now I remember when Victor Lindelof signed for Manchester United in fall of 2017, and of course he came from Benfica. Benfica, you know, he was known as Iceman, putting players on ice in terms of his tackles, Iceman. We have never seen an ice bone in his body since he's been at Manchester United, Victor Lindelof. He has not embodied that type of defending. See, there's two types of defenders, bro. I think some of you guys know that. There's the aggressive defender, and there's more of the laid-back screening defender. Of course, to use names to bring it home to you guys, Jimena Vidic would be the aggressive defender. Rio Ferdinand would be more of the... No, Ferdinand, in defense of Ferdinand, he can play both, but his main claim to fame is him being the screener. He can tackle intelligently. He doesn't need to put himself on the spot to slide tackle or whatever. And also he can pass the ball from the back. That's his qualities and traits. So with Victor Lindelof, when he came to Manchester United, person was saying, yo, Victor Lindelof is going to be the next Rio Ferdinand. He's just going to be the vanilla version of Rio Ferdinand, Victor Lindelof. He's going to be the vanilla version. You know, he's going to be one of our best centre-backs with, Eric Bailly, isn't he? Eric Bailly, yes, he's have injuries, but, you know, Eric Bailly is going to be that version of Nemanja Vidic, and with that complementary combination of centre-back pairing. You know, there won't be no interfering with the defensive line. You know, we won't be behind because we won't be conceding goals. We'll be scoring goals. That's our ultimate goal. And we'll be in control of the game. But I'm playing this in the sky. Trying to stop this. Trying to interrupt me. But Victor Lindelof, Victor Lindelof, when he came, he was like a fish out of water. He couldn't adapt to the intensity, to the aggressiveness, the combative, the competitive nature of the Premier League in his first year. That's why he was benched by Mourinho in a lot of the games. When Victor Lindelof started, I think he started against Huddersfield away. My brethren, he was supposed to clear a ball, yeah? He was supposed to clear a ball, and he allowed Aaron Moy. Who remembered Aaron Moy from Huddersfield? I think he's at Brighton now. But Aaron Moy scored 2 goals because of Victor Lindelof's mistakes. Plural. Mistakes. He made 2 mistakes, Victor Lindelof. And he was hung out to dry in that game. Person was saying, okay, if this guy's an Iceman, why isn't he putting Aaron Moy on ice? That wasn't nice. Why is he allowing Aaron Moy to score 2 goals? So, and ever since he's been improving, he's been, getting good games here and there, but he's been very lukewarm. He's been very hot and warm, hot and cold. He's been very inconsistent, sometimes consistently inconsistent. And I believe Victor Lindelof, to wrap up on him, I think he should stay, but I just don't think he should be the main man starting next season. I just don't think so, because Harry Maguire is downright definitely going to start next season. So Victor Lindelof didn't get the execution from me. He was saved this time, maybe next time, but in this execution session, he didn't get the sword from me. So I think Victor Lindelof is going to actually stay. To speed up the process, we have Eric Bailly. When Eric Bailly signed from Villarreal, yes, he came from Villarreal in 2016. He was a young black youth from Ivory Coast, a centre back that was exuding pace, power, and precision as a defender. Came to Manchester United. He wanted to impress. He wanted to persons to see that he could be a world class centre back. But he has had his roller coaster ride at Manchester United. Injuries has been his enemy. Injuries has been his adversary. He's not the same Eric Bailly. But the thing is that when Eric Bailly is fit, and he's playing, there is no attacking player, that can beat Eric Bailly on his day. There is no player that could beat Eric Bailly when he's fully fit, he's match fit, and he's playing. There is no defender that can actually beat Eric Bailly when he's all of those things. When he's fully fit, he's match fit, and he's playing. Makes no difference. If you're trying to match him for pace, he's going to outpower you and outpace you. If you're trying to trick him, he's going to probably get a red card, but he's going to slide tackle because you're not going to disrespect Eric Bailly like that. And thirdly, he's just a nonsense defender. So we need a defender like that. We need a defender like that in Eric Bailly. So Eric Bailly is not going to get no execution from me. Yes, he's had his injury problems. That is something that we need to work on, but he needs to stay. Phil Jones. Anybody, if you're a Manchester United supporter, which I'm guessing most of you are, if you remember when Sir Alex Ferguson said in 2011 that a player like Philip Jones, person may call him Phil Jones, I call him Philip Jones. A person like Philip Jones, Sir Alex Ferguson was basically saying, Philip Jones is going to be the next Duncan Edward. Duncan. He's going to be the next Duncan Edwards. He's going to be that world-class centre-back that England has been crying out for ever since John Terry. He's going to be the next John Terry. Philip Jones. That's Philip Jones now. That's what Phil Jones does. He's going to be a world-class centre-back. Yes, a signing from Blackburn. Yes, but he's going to be a better centre-back. Again, he's going to be the next Duncan Edwards. I mean, as good as Sir Alex Ferguson is a coach, he was wrong on that. And person has called him out on that. He has been wrong on that assertion. Because Phil Jones has not improved since he's been at Manchester United. He has stagnated, he's plateaued, he's been on the same wavelength, he has been singing the same pitch ever since he's been at Manchester United since 2011. He's been the same defender. There's no sign of improvement from Philip Jones ever since he signed. He's been rock my baby by an aging Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, basically those two experienced defenders. But his game has not improved. Yes, he's been decent in some games. He's actually played right back before. He's actually played centre defensive midfielder before. Yes, Phil Jones, number 4 at Manchester United, Phil Jones. But he's still not... His game has not improved. And person's been on Phil Jones' case ever since 2014 because, he's just a liability, bro. He has me speechless right now. That's how bad he is. Why is he at Manchester United right now? He's just wasting the wages that he's been given per week. This dude hasn't smelled any football since season. And for some person, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has found some invalid reason to stay and stick with him and not sell him off. Bro, sell the dude. He's not good. He's not a good... Well, he might be a good person, but he's not a good defender. And we need good defenders. So, he needs to be sold, bro. He needs to be told to leave. He needs to leave the premises and the property of Manchester United. He just needs to leave, bro. Why are we keeping this dude? Just for kicks and giggles? Like, why are we keeping Philip Jones? He has not fulfilled his quote-unquote potential. He needs to leave. So yes, he's the next player that I would execute. Yeah, he needs to just leave. And Harry Maguire is staying. We know that. I wouldn't sell Harry Maguire because it's going to look stupid because we signed this dude from Leicester City almost 2 years ago from Leicester City for almost, if not 80 million pounds. Why sell a dude 2 years later? He has been rock solid this season. He's played most of the minutes of Manchester United's game this season prior to his injury against Aston Villa. Yes, we have missed him out. We have missed him in the last games of the season, including the Villarreal Europa League final match. But I mean, come on, bro. Why is this guy? Why sell this guy? He's like probably 26 or something. He can improve. Yes, Slabhead can improve. Yes, the Frigid can improve his game. Yes, he's not the fastest defender, but that's where Eric Bailly going to come into the picture. And we've been linked with Rafael Varane. We have been linked with this guy from Sevilla. I think he's a centre back. But yeah, it's not going to look like good business, bro, to just sell a guy that we signed 2 years ago for 80 million pounds. It's not going to, that's contrary to logical thinking. That doesn't make any sense. Plus, he's a captain for Manchester United. Now, whether that is the best decision made or not, that's a different story. But given the current state, he's a captain. It doesn't make sense to sell a captain just like that. Plus, he's been improving his game for the past weeks. So it doesn't make any sense to just cut him off cold turkey and sell him off to another club like that. Knowing that he's English and he's going to cost a lot of money. And clubs are not going to pay that type of money to get a defender like Harry Maguire. So it's best if he just stays. Don't know if he can hear my sister in the back. But yeah. Diego Dalot, I believe he's staying, but some person might say, oh, I just want this fake Portuguese right back to just go back to where he come back. I think this dude is from Congo. I think this guy just needs to go back to where he's from. But I think Diogo Dalot, I think there's a lot he needs to know about Diogo Dalot, but I would not sell Diogo Dalot. Again, we signed this dude in summer of 2018 from Porto, so I don't think we need to sell this dude. I need to move up because I don't want this video to be longer than an hour like the last time. Luke Shaw, of course, he got the player of the season. He has been improving this season. He's been an embodiment of improvement this season. But I wouldn't call it shots on Luke Shaw because Luke Shaw has put in the work. Persons had called him fat. Persons have said that he's not all that. Persons have been saying that, he's just not good and that's a fact. So he needs to be sold. But no, bro, he should not be sold. No, he's not the fittest of left backs, but what he's done as a chubby left back is very good. He has out left backed and Robertson this season, Kieran Tierney of Arsenal this season, and a few others. But we shouldn't sell this dude. He's a good player. He's still young. He's still young. So we don't need to be selling this dude. Jose Mourinho basically said almost 3 years, if not 4 years ago, say, yo, Luke Shaw, you wonder why Luke Shaw is not in my squad? Because there's players that are ahead of him or above him. He needs to be told, I need to tell him what to do. He's not a good player. That's why he's not playing. He's not at this stage as other players in my squad like Ashley Young and etc. He's behind. He's behind. Louis Van Gaal told the guy that he's fat. Imagine if the manager telling the pressers in a press conference that you are fat. Talk about some confidence booster. That is some good confidence booster, huh? But nah. So he's improved his game, Luke Shaw, this season. So of course he's staying. He's not going to be sold. I know that football is all about unpredictability, not knowing when's the future, but I just don't think Luke Shaw in good senses will be sold. I just don't think. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made some questionable choices, but I don't think he's going to make a decision that's going to be that questionable. So we move into, of course, Wan-Bissaka is going to stay. he's been improving his attacking game. Brandon Williams needs to get loaned out. Again, that's just me. It's me. Axel Twansibi. Man, this video is going to be I want to cut this down, but Axel Twansibi, his claim to fame is when he pocketed Alexis Sanchez 4 years ago, if not 4 years ago, not 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. But yeah, his claim to fame is that he pocketed Alexis, a prime, let me make this exceptionally clear, a prime 2017 Alexis Sanchez. He pocketed Alexis Sanchez. I don't think that Sanchez has been out of his pocket ever since. That's why he hasn't been the same Sanchez. But I just don't think, just because that was your claim to fame 4 years ago, he's been living up to that type of hype ever since. But he hasn't delivered the goods as a defender, Axel Twansibi. So I think this dude needs to. I know some of you guys will say, you're going to sell Axel Twansibi? I mean, in the early of another plane. Bro, I know some of you guys think I live near the coast or something, but I just live near an airport, bro, and yeah. Man, the planes, bro. But Axel Twansibi, I think this guy, okay. Oh, someone messaged me on Messenger. I think I'm going to give this guy, because see, I'm a good person at heart. I'm a good Samaritan. I'm a good Samaritan when I need to be, is me. And I'm going to give him 2 years of grace period. Maximum 2 years of grace period. I'm going to give him 2 maximum years to improve his game and see what he's built up, because the same way how we have been very ruthless with Timothy Fosu-Mensah last year in selling him, it makes no sense to keep Axel Twansibi if we're going to sell Timothy Fosu-Mensah like we did last year. It doesn't make sense to be ruthless with one player and toothless with another player. That is not congruent. That's not congruency. It's basically to be ruthless with one player, sell him, that is Axel Twansibi, and be ruthless with Timothy Fosu-Mensah that we did last year with the same thing as Axel Twansibi, because the reason we sold Timothy Fosu-Mensah is because, again, injuries has been on his bad side. His injuries has been his worst enemy, and it has prohibited him, deprived him and suppressed him from playing games. That's why he hasn't got any game time. And yes, he's a young dude. Yes, he's a young youth, but we just can't. We can't give you so much game time or time at a club for so long. You just need to leave for the best of your career, bro. So I am giving Axel Twansibi 2 more years. If he knows 2 years he's not good enough, he just needs to be moved on. He just needs to be sold. That is the ruthless, the assertiveness that Manchester United is lacking. Manchester United doesn't have an owner like Roman Abramovich that's going to cut the cords if the players is not one accord into the club. That is something we're missing. We're missing having the balls to cut off a player cold turkey and selling him off. So yeah, I am giving Axel Twansibi 2 more years to reinvent, to transform, to perform to improve his game. I'm giving him 2 more years. So he's on death row for 2 more years. So I'm not going to cut the cord with him right now. I'm going to give him 2 more years. Yeah. But yeah. Let's move into the defenders here. The midfielders, I should say. And of course, 2 that is basically screaming at me right now is Paul Pogba and Juan Mata. Juan Mata has to leave. I'm not going to execute Juan Mata. I'm just going to give him the injection of execute. I'm not going to give him the beheaded execution. I'm just going to give him the injection in execution where he just did off like that. So I'm not going to just kill him off, like slit his throat or anything. No, I'm not going to be doing that. Like I told you guys, I'm a good guy at heart, so I'm not going to do that to a good-hearted player like Juan Mata. Because even though he hasn't played as much, he's still a good person. One matter. He hasn't complained about game time. He hasn't. No, one matter is a good person, so he's not going to be doing that. I think my battery is probably dying. Ooh, 77%. Okay, I'm decent. So yes, matters. He has accomplished a lot of in his career. He's won the World Cup. He has won the Champions League, the Euro League. I think 2 Euro League. He has won the. I think he's won the. No, he hasn't won the Premier League. No, he hasn't won the Premier League. Came close. No, he hasn't won the Premier League. So I think that's the only pizza that's missing from his pie. But I just don't think he needs to continue with Manchester United. He's getting old. This dude is on 100,000 per week. He just needs to be. He needs to leave, but in a nice way, of course. Make him go back to Valencia or Sevilla or some player in Spain, bro. Make him play there again. Just go back to your roots. So yeah, I think he needs to leave. That's one matter. Paul Pogba. You guys know my stance on this already. He needs to leave because of 2 reasons. Of course, there's more reasons, but to narrow it down to 2 reasons, he needs to leave because he hasn't won a trophy at Manchester United for the past 4 years. And I basically said this before the season finished. Probably last year, September and October, and earlier this year, I said, if United doesn't win a trophy this season, right? If we're trophyless this season, if we are trophy virgins this season, he needs to leave. Not for selling him because he's not a good player, but he needs to be sold because he's disrespecting his career and he's disrespecting himself as a player, where he can go elsewhere and win trophies. He needs to go to greener grasses that is going to be more reciprocal to his caliber of a player. Paul Pogba is a player that can play at Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus if he needs to. That is the type of player Paul Pogba is. And if he stays at Manchester United, God forbids, bro, again, I just wanted to move on so that you don't disrespect your career. You're in the prime of your years. I'm pretty sure some players are in the front squad admonishing the hell out of you for questioning why are you still at Manchester United. If you look at most of the players in the front squad, they're at elite clubs. They're in elite teams. I'm not going to mention no names, but because France is just an elite international side. But Paul Pogba needs to move on so he can win trophies elsewhere, bro. If he stays, he's not an ambitious person, and I've said that before. He needs to leave for his own good, bro. This is no hatred. This is no ill feelings towards you. You need to leave, bro. You need to leave the premises and property of Manchester United. You need to leave he's left Manchester United because he's in France training camp, but he needs to leave Manchester United as a whole. You see me? Not leave whatever. He just needs to leave, bro. Jesse Lingard, I think Jesse Lingard needs to leave because he has improved his game at West Ham in London. Jesse Lingard has not been the same Jesse Lingard since his girlfriend probably broke up with him. So I think he needs to move on for his own good. And go back to not go back, but he needs to go to West Ham and play good. He's been playing good football at West Ham. David Moyes, of all persons, is getting the best out of Jesse Lingard. Who would have thought that? But Andres Pereira, when Andres Pereira came out, he scored a very good free kick on his debut in the Capital One Cup against I don't remember the side, but it was at Old Trafford in the FA Cup first round or something like that. I remember vividly because I was watching the game. And person were saying this guy is going to be the next David Beckham. Person were saying this guy is going to be the next Paul Scholes. The Portuguese Paul Scholes. Or the Brazilian Paul Scholes. But he's just not. So he's not even an average player. So I mean, yes, he's been thriving at Lazio, but I just don't think. Hold on. I just don't think this guy needs to stay at Manchester United, bro, because Bruno Fernandes is, of course, he's going to start a lot of games, whether he's at number 10, a false 9, a centre forward, or a midfielder. You see me? So I just don't think he needs to what the hell? Yeah, I don't think he needs to stay, bro, because he's not going to better his career. You see me? So I just think he needs to leave for the betterment of his career. That is Andres Pereira. Of course, Fred is a fun one because 10 minutes is going to be a long one. When Fred came in, person were questioning is Fred a Mourinho sign, because Fred is not no 6-foot player. Fred is not a slow, well, he's not fast anyway, but he's not a slow player. He's not a 6'4" player. He's not a 30+-year-old player. He's not the criteria. He's not the embodiment or the main description of a Mourinho player. So person we're questioning is Fred a Mourinho player. He has qualities. He's been decent at his previous club in Ukraine, but again, Ukraine is not on the same quality of the Premier League. It's not even. It's like day and night. It's like day and night. So, I believe Fred needs to stay, but I don't think he should be starting. He should not be starting for Manchester United. The Mark Fred pivot, bro, that needs to be killed, you see me? Because Manchester United is not going to improve them game if we keep playing this guy with yeah, I'm getting distracted. But basically, yeah, Fred needs to stay for squad depth. Bruno Fernandes, of course, he's staying. Amad Diallo, of course, he's staying. He's young to the squad. Daniel James. See, I told you guys, I'm a good person, so I'm going to give Daniel James 1 more year, bro, because when this guy came from Swansea, yes, his father died when he came to Manchester United, but still, bro, just because the father died when you're fresh from the vine coming to Manchester United, doesn't mean that you're going to get the green light in staying at Manchester United. So, just because the father died. So, I think this guy, he needs to be given 1 more year before, I'm going to put him on death row for 1 more year, bro, because I want to see his improvement. I want to see what this guy is actually made of. This guy is not, if he had no pace to his game, I don't think this guy would be at Manchester United or a professional footballer for that matter. You see me? I just don't think his game is that deep, that integrated, or that dynamic. I just don't think so. So he just needs to leave for the hell of it. Okay. Next. Nemanja Matic. I think Matic needs to stay for experience. Donny van de Beek, he needs to be given game time. Donny van de Beek, I think he needs to be more aggressive with his interaction with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer by saying, yo, you signed me from Ajax. I did not come here to be a bench player to players that are not on my level. I want to start games. I want to play games. Yes, I know that you're very cautious. I know that you're very cautious and very timid because you don't want to leak out goals, so you're going to play 2 not skillful but 2 slow, static, lethargic defensive midfielders in the name of Scott McTominay, which is next, and Fred, which I just mentioned, as a double pivot. But you need to be playing me, bro. I can play double pivot. I can play as a box pivot. I can play as a number 10. I can play as a number 8. I can play anywhere in the midfield. That is how good I am. I am from Holland, bro. I know what good football is like. I am from the generation of good Holland football. I am from the academy of Ajax. How could I not know how to play football as a midfielder? There are a lot of good midfielders that came from Holland. I know what total football is like. I know what good football is like. Johan Cruyff was that the generational teacher for football in Holland. How could I not know football? And that's why this guy needs to be starting. He needs to tell Ole, say, yo, I need to start. I am good enough. This is me. I have certain traits that is not endowed in certain players in the squad. So yeah, I think Donny van de Beek needs to stay. And Scott McTominay or James Garner, yeah, I think he needs to stay in my opinion anyway. Um, wait, okay. Scott McTominay, persons been calling him Scott McToniel, Scott McToilet, McSauce, Scott McNuggets, all of those names. And I mean, it's entertainment, it's funny, but bro, if you're criticizing the player, do not personally attack the name. Don't give any ad hominem attacks to the name of Scott McTominay or any player for that matter. Criticize constructively and subjectively, by the way, not destructively, but constructively criticize the player on the pitch, not the person itself. Remove the sinner from the sin. I've not been saying that a lot of times. You cannot be personally insulting a player that doesn't know you from a can of paint. They haven't seen you. They haven't looked upon you. They don't even know your first name. They don't even know where you're from. So why are you insulting the person personally? But anyway, yeah, Scott McTominay needs to stay at Manchester United. He has scored goals this season. Sometimes he's looked like a prime Tom Cruise for some reason. Sometimes he's looked like an average. He's looked like the average version of Jordan Henderson. So he's been all over the place. So I think this guy needs to stay. In terms of the strikers, I'm coming down. I want this to be under 1 hour. Edison Cavani, he signed a new contract, staying for another year. Cavani, we need to keep him for his experience, his drive. He's very fit as a striker. No, when I say very fit, I'm talking about physically. I'm not talking about as a match fit. Even when he's like most players at his age, bro, they're not as fit as Cavani, bro. They're not as fit as Cavani. Cavani is the player that will run up and down for 90 minutes. He's that kid in high school, not high school because they shouldn't be running up and down in high school. But he's a kid in kindergarten that will be running up and down all lunchtime for the ball. Even when he doesn't get the ball, he's that type of player. And he's not a midfielder, he's a striker. So he's all over the place. And that is what we need from a striker. Martial is not that type of striker. Matter of fact, that's the next name I'm gonna get into. But Cavani as a striker, he's fit in terms of his physique. That's what I mean. He's fit in terms of his physique. Now, in terms of like stamina, yes, he has stamina. That dude is, I mean, definitely in his prime. But that dude, he has like 3 lungs, dude. He's like the striker version of N'Golo Kante. I think he's a striker version of Jinsun Park. He'll just run around. But he'll get injuries as well, so he needs to cut out that aspect of his game somewhat, or moderate it or modify it. So yeah, my final take is that he's not going to get executed. No, Cavani is going to stay, and I think he might actually retire at Manchester United. We'll see. Anthony Martial. He's from France. They say he had no chance. Isn't me? Anthony Martial is a funny one because Martial has scored at least late 70 goals, if not early 80 goals for Manchester United. In the early 80s, like 81 or 82 or 83 or 79 or 80 goals for Manchester United. This dude has improvement. The thing is that I just don't think he's as determined or he has that drive to go to a top tier level. He has the talent to go there, but the question is, does he have the drive to go there? You can only bring the horse to the river to drink, but you can't force the horse to drink. That's on the horse's volition. That's the horse's action to do. You see me? So, as a defender, which Martial is not, as a striker, Anthony Martial needs to improve his game. You see me? He's a young youth. If he's old, yes, he could probably take it down a bit, but no, man, he needs to get to the grind. He needs to improve on his game. Yeah. There are a lot of Manchester United fans that might actually... There's 2 types of clubs at Manchester United. Is the objective, the fans that are objective. They're not narrow-minded in their thoughts. They're critical when they're thinking. They're very objective. You see me? But you have another club that is known as Martial FC. Well, you have Pogba FC, but it's not as big as Martial FC. And what you need to see and realize is that there's a divide when it comes down to Anthony Martial. Persons are not very objective, particularly Martial hardcore fans. They're not objective with Martial. Person might say, man, Martial is a good talented player, but I just don't think he needs to leave. I think he's better than Greenwood, he's better than Cavani. I'll say this, in terms of his whole up play, in terms of his link up play, there's no striker at Manchester United that's better than Anthony Martial. None. Zero. None. None. In terms of his link up play, playing with his back to goal, playing passes, no striker that's better than Anthony Martial. Is me. But in terms of finishing, Martial is good when he's when Martial is hungry for the goals, he'll score them. But yeah, I think he needs to stay despite his linkages to Tottenham. But yeah, I think he needs to stay. Marcus Rashford. Dr. Rashford. Rashford is a fun one because it's been said that Rashford has been injured all season, which I don't think is true. Because despite his quote-unquote injury, he's clocked at least 21 goals with at least 15 assists, which is not a bad season. Now, Rashford in the second half of the season has not been the same Rashford as earlier on in the season. And if Rashford is playing himself with injuries, then his career is not going to be as lengthy as it could, if that makes sense. Meaning that if he start playing injured, quote unquote, with injuries, and think about the longevity of his career, the long period of his career, if he comes out of that mind headspace of thinking about now, having short-term gratifications and etc., then he's going to benefit long-term. But he wants to play in his injuries. No, that is, you could say, a winner's mentality, but you're just winning to lose, bro. Why are you playing with injuries? You're just playing a losing battle, bro. You're not going that battle. And he's even in the England camp. Excuse my French. Is me so. But this season, of course, I'm not going to say Rashford, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So maybe some of you guys want Rashford to be sold. But despite the racial comments that has been said to Rashford, the criticism, whether destructive, constructive, subjective, relative, whatever, Rashford is still Rashford. Rashford can still score an individual goal. He's still that good. Understand that Rashford at some point in the early aspect of last season, he was the top scorer in the Champions League with 6 goals. 6. And we got knocked out of the Champions League group stage. So I don't think we need to be selling this youth. This youth still has fruits in his game. He's still improving. Yes, as a young player, you're not going to make the best decision. You're going to make the best decision for yourself. And we have seen that with some decision-making qualities of Rashford. Like, there's some times Rashford has been in situations where he should have shoot, but he fakes a shot to get his own goal, or when he should have passed the ball and he took the shot. So his decision making is not as good as we'd expect an experienced player. But he's a young player, so he's going to be doing that. So yeah, I'm going to keep Rashford. Mason Greenwood. Just like Rashford, he's English. Mason Greenwood is English, and it's been said that Mason Greenwood has had an injury, which I'm very skeptical of, because I don't think he has an injury. I just don't think he was picked to go to England, to the Euros. But hey, I'm no Southgate, so what do I know? But yeah, so Mason Greenwood this season, yes, he started off not scoring goals, not in the goals, but Mason Greenwood, if I was to compare him with a stove or electricity, like a generator, I would say Mason Greenwood is the type of player that is going to take him some time to heat up. It's not like a switch where you just turn on the light and the light, down the whole light is just, no, I just don't think he's that type of player. He's going to take time to improve. You see me? He's going to take his own time to improve. He's like a stove. When you turn on a stove is not going to be heated and hot like a furnace in the first second. So it's going to heat up slowly. So it's going to take him some time to improve. And that's what he did. He started scoring goals in the latter half of the season. You see me? So, but despite his goals, he's been improving his overall game. That is something that has been underrated and not spoken of that frequently. Person been talking about, Mason Greenwood is not scoring much goals. I think he's been a flop. He's no generational talent. He's just a fraudulent, he's just a fraudulent player. I don't think he's going to make it. He's just one of those players that was aspiring to be the best, but hype got to his head, and he's now playing a dead type of game. He's improved his overall qualities. Matter of fact, I would even say that a few persons have said this. In terms of football IQ, at the age of Mason Greenwood, I would say Mason Greenwood has better football IQ than Rashford and a few players in the squad. In a story. That's not much of an opinion as it's a fact. That's a fact. If you watch the games, then you know what I'm talking about. Mason Greenwood is not even 23. The dude is like 21, if not 20. No, he's 19. Talking about 21, he's 19. And he's not even 20. And the dude has better IQ than most young players. I would even say he has better IQ than Mbappe. But that's a difference. So I ain't going to get into Mbappe right now. So yeah. Next. Of course, Mason Greenwood this thing. Next is Tahith Chong. How many of you guys remember Tahith Chong? Raise your right hand right now. How many of you guys remember Tahith Chong? Yes, the guy with the Mbappe, the guy that has a very questionable mustache, like he's in the 1960s or something, like he's from Colombia. But yeah, I think a player of, because I'm wrapping up right now, a player of Tahith Chong, again, I haven't seen this guy in Germany, because he played for Werder Bremen in Germany last season. So of course he's coming back, I would think. But I just don't think, bro, that he's going to be playing as much games at Manchester United, because Tahith Chong is a lengthy, skinny, type of player. I think he's going to fill out when he gets older. But we're talking about right now, bro. You're at Manchester United right now. You have a contract at Manchester United. You've been a loanee at Werder Bremen in Germany. But you have to start performing, bro. And he's been playing at left back, left mid. But I just don't think he's going to make it at Manchester again. That's my opinion. So for me, I'll give Tahith Chong at least 2 more years at Manchester United. I'm not going to cut him off cold turkey as yet, because yes, he's kind of lengthy, and being a lengthy player, and you're a wide player, and you're this long lengthy player, it's going to have some detriments to your center of gravity. You're not going to be as fluid when you're attacking. So that means you're going to, when you're on the ball, the ball at your feet is going to be easily exposed to the defenders or the opposition. So I just don't think, I could be wrong. You see me, I'm not speaking from a place of perfection or utopia. So I don't, I'm just giving my thoughts. So in terms of Tahith Chong, my final thoughts is that he can improve his game. He can improve his game. He's not old. He's probably 20 years old or something, but he's not an old player. So yeah, I'm giving him 2 more years to see what he's about. Because I want to be objective. I want to be even kill with Axel Tuanzebe, Daniel James. I think I'm giving Daniel James 1 more, because I think Daniel James is older than the other players, and he's had professional football under his belt than other players. Brandon Williams, of course, 2 more years and etc. But I'll see what's up with Tahith Chong. And of course, the last player is Anthony Elanga. No person been criticizing Elanga based on his antics against Wolves, and I'm closing down right now, so you guys can be at peace when I'm closing down the video. But of course, if you guys have watched up to this point, I appreciate every one of you guys. I know that I don't have a lot of viewers because my channel is not big, by any stretch, but I appreciate every grand, every ounce, every inch of you guys that watch these videos that I'm making, because I know you guys have busy time in your schedule, but you have made the time to watch these videos, and I'm very appreciative of that. And to show your appreciation, of course, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel and share this channel. So on Anthony Elanga, I think this guy actually, I haven't seen much of this guy, so I'm not going to really critique him as a player as yet. But the few that I've seen is he scored a header goal against Wolves. Good cross from Daniel James as well. Very didn't expect that, but it happened here. Elanga, I believe he'll be I don't think he'll be a top quality player. Again, that's my opinion based on what I'm critiquing right now. Again, I haven't seen much of this player, so I'm just speaking from a place of ignorance. So I haven't seen much of this dude. So my closing thoughts, my closing remarks is that Anthony Elanga can probably become a backup if needs be. I don't think he's going to be a striker or a forward that to be starting games like Nani, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Giggs in his younger years. I just don't see it. But hey, I've been proven wrong before, so maybe I've been proved wrong again. So I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. I know this is a lengthier video podcast than usual. Yeah, so leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be more than happy enough to read these comments in the next video podcast I'm going to do. And I'll show it to you guys in the next video podcast. Deuce, peace.